Guys, welcome back to Hey Man, join me Alex, and today a very quick video where I just want to summarise my season predictions and really put them to bed. I know it's probably a little bit too late, but I will show you where I'm coming from very quickly. So if we go onto this screen here, I do have my predictions, and I'll quickly just show you. I do have a screenshot on my phone that I have actually prepared and put forward for this. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that I'm not in any way trying to, pull the wool over anyone's eyes. I'll zoom in here for you. I did make these predictions long ago, just before the season began. As you can see here, Sunday the 10th of August at around about 10:30. These were my predictions. So just to make sure, this is coming from a place where, I could be terribly wrong, but I think this is where we're going to end up at the end of the year. So I'll quickly just put that back to normal and we'll go through my predictions this year. So very, very quickly, I just want to make this a very quick one because I want to try and get this out before 6:30 on the Friday before the West Ham-Chelsea game. Let's see where we go from here. So in last place, it's Sunderland. I don't think Sunderland have what it takes. I think, especially looking after the first game week, West Ham, anything happens on the first game week, so I'm not really going to go there. But Sunderland, I think, just don't have that defensive capability. They came through the playoffs. I know they brought in players like Adingra, Mark Gui, loads of different types of players, but, I just don't think that the passion that you can have through that is going to carry them enough to a position where they're going to avoid relegation. I just don't see it for me. Then Wolves and Brentford, that controversially, I think two of the promoted sides are actually going to stay up this year. So Wolves, I think, are in a very, very bad place. We saw them concede many goals towards the end of last season. I think, for me, Wolves, losing Cunha, losing Aït-Nouri, they've not really replaced them too well. They've got John, I think it's Arias. I can't remember who else, but I can't see Wolves doing much better than they did last year, and they were very, very poor last year outside of the contributions that Cunha had to the side. Strand Larsen, do I think they're going to do anything with him? They looked pretty decent at the end of the start of game week 1, but again, I don't think great. Brentford as well, in my eyes, before the season started, Brentford had not reinforced their side after losing Thomas Frank, after losing Mbuemo, after now going to be losing Wissa. They've lost quite a big few players in their side. Pretty much all of their goals from Wissa and Mbuemo, and then Shada's stayed, but I don't think they've got the quality. I think Thiago's a decent striker, but I don't think they've got the quality elsewhere. I think they're pretty solid in defence, and also losing the goalkeeper and bringing in Kelleher, it's a massive risk, and we saw that in game week 1 where they did lose in the end. So then I've got Burnley. I think Burnley are defensively sound. They did lose 3-0 to Tottenham, but opening day of the season, as I say, anything can happen. I just think they're defensively sound. They're going to be all right. I think going forwards, they look semi-threatening, but again, a lot of draws. I think they'll win a few games 1-0. I think they're better than the Brentfords, the Wolves, the Sunderlands. I think they'll just do better defensively because Scott Parker sets them up like that. And then Leeds, I think, just have too good an attack, in all honesty. Calvert-Lewin, I think he's a proven striker. He was great back in the day. Replacing Bamford, it's a great replacement for him. I think looking at them on the opening day of the season against Leeds as well, against Everton as well, they look very good. But I just think Leeds, they're going to do well. They're going to get 16th. They're going to survive. That's how I see them. Bournemouth as well, not brilliant. Not getting rid of Kirkes, getting rid of Huyson, getting rid of I think it's Neto who used to be in net for them, and I like Petrovic a lot, but getting rid of pretty much their back four. So Zabani as well has gone. I think Senesi's still there, but yeah, they've lost a lot of players, Bournemouth, and I don't think their front three, especially with Clivert being out towards the start of the season, I didn't think they were going to do too well. So they're down in 15th for me. Everton, I thought they might have bolstered their team, and then they were better than everyone below them there. I think you look at Everton, you look at the likes of Grealish coming in now, and Dyer I thought was brilliant last year as well. I think they had a lot of clean sheets, so if they can just keep that going, 14th is an improvement for them, I think. Just looking at where they were last year, how they performed towards the back end of last year, they just need to invest in a lot better players. Like Thierry Barry is not great up front, nor is Beto. Grealish, if he can do something for them, he will carry them up the table. But I think 14th is a pretty decent position because I did not see Grealish happening. Brighton, I just don't think they're strong enough. I just don't think they are. Looking at Baleba in the midfield is very, very good, but everywhere else, it just doesn't work for me. João Pedro not being in the side, Rutter playing up front. Is he going to be like Jorginho Rutter? Is he going to be the man? It's like O'Reilly coming through. Can we like rely on him? That's the other question. Brighton fans, but again, something to look at there. Fulham, bang average for me. Not really done much this season. I think they're better than everyone below them. Iwobi, they could have pressed on. They could have tried to get into the top half of the table, but they've just done nothing for me. So Fulham, I think this year will coast, and then if they don't really, invest in the side, I can see the likes of Iwobi trying to move on, the likes of, Muniz moving on, even Raul Jimenez moving on to a degree. Like Fulham just seem to be in a very stagnant position at the moment. West Ham, I've got them finishing 11th. I think they'll press on. I don't think they'll be anywhere near Europe, but I think they'll be like a distinguished, the bottom. I'd say the bottom 8 there, maybe in Sunderland, Wolves, Brentford, Burnley, Leeds, Bournemouth, and then you're probably looking at Everton as well, maybe even Brighton. So the bottom 8, I would say, are going to be struggling in my eyes. And then you're going to have the likes of Fulham, West Ham, Palace, and then Forest. I think those 4 there, you're looking at the next block up, where I think Fulham are going to be average. West Ham, I think, will come through. They'll beat like the likes of Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth below them. Palace, I think they'll have a good season, but I think with Europe, it'll push them down, so I'll put them down into 10th. Forest, I've got in 9th. I think it just can't be. It can't go on much longer, I don't think. Like, they had a great opening day of the season, but again, I don't think they'll hang on to that form. I think it's a massive purple patch they're having. I just don't see it progressing into this year at all, especially with like the likes of Europe happening. Newcastle, I think it's just so, like, the Isaac thing was happening. You're looking at who they've invested in. They've brought Elanga in. The defence needed a bit of work. I like Hall, I like Livramento, but Trippier's a backup. I don't really see him doing well. Botman was injured for the first bit of the season. I mean, Gordon was all right last year, but he's really lost his mojo. I don't know. I like Harvey Barnes a lot, but and that midfield is brilliant, so I can see them getting 8th. But I think United will just pip them to that 7th or 8th spot. That 7th spot, United are there. I think they've invested well. I think they've got no Europe. They've got Carabao Cup and FA Cup to look after, but pretty much everyone else has got that as well. So, but with the denseness of the squad now, just for the Premier League with no Europe, I think United will do fine. Aston Villa, I've got them quite high up. I do think they'll do well. I think they'll crash out of their European spot. I think they will, but I think for me, looking at how their side's set up, they're lacking any additional striker. They need like a new Rashford that can come in and make a big impact like he did, to be honest. Like, you look at the Marlins, you look at how Rodgers was playing, you look at all the, like, Watkins was in there, Rodgers, I'm trying to think of who else, Leon Bailey was doing all right, Marlon. You need another striker, and they brought someone in, but I just don't think they're that well known. Like Rashford, he's going to make an immediate impact and play out left, right, striker, very adaptable, but yeah, I think you need someone else like that. So I'll put them in 6th for now, because I think they will be better than United and Newcastle long term. Spurs in 5th. I think they're going to be finding their form again. I like Thomas Frank. I like the signing of Kudus. I think they could have done better getting Gibbs White. And now obviously Eze has just slipped through the grasp, as per my video yesterday. Arsenal taking over. I think they're going to have a bad season, Arsenal. I think they've had like this run of elite form for years, and then I think they're going to fall off. Like, not a massive fall off, but I think they're going to fall off big time. I can see Arteta going. I can see it being a bit dysfunctional around January. I think the Gyökeres signing won't start well, but I think after you get rid of the likes of like an Arteta, who doesn't really know how to coach a striker, I think once you get rid of that, it'll be golden. It'll be like a golden era. So I think they'll do poorly up until Christmas. You'll see the sack of Arteta, then you'll see someone else coming in and really bolster the side. Chelsea, I reckon Chelsea will do really well this year. I think they've got too deep a squad to not do well. You look at your Delap, if João Pedro's not doing well, João Pedro comes in. If Delap's not doing well, they've got brilliant depth in like that central midfielder role with Lavia, with Caicedo, with Enzo, and then defensively they've got 2 big injuries defensively, but they still look sound defensively, which is an impressive stat. So obviously coming off the Club World Cup as well, they'll tire out. That's why I don't think they'll go for the 1st or 2nd spots. But then I've got Liverpool 2nd, because I just think hanging on to Van Dijk and not getting another powerful centre-back in, like a Guehi, who can just come and slot in instead of Canate or instead of Van Dijk. I think having them two, I know they bought this fella from the Italian league, but I just can't see it being that productive for me. I think they've invested well up front, like Wirtz is brilliant, Ekitike is brilliant, but Could you have not maybe used Szoboszlai, maybe got in someone a bit cheaper in that midfield instead of the Wirtz for 120 odd million? Maybe brought in like a 60 million pound defender, which will get you an elite defender nowadays, to sort of partner Van Dijk or replace Van Dijk in the next 2 years. That's the sort of thing I want to see. And then Manchester City for me are the title holders. They're not the title holders, are the title winners, I think. Anyway, I'm predicting around about 88 points this year. You're not going to see the 90s, you're not going to see the Centurions. I think it's going to be a very difficult year, especially seeing Liverpool now in game week 1 sort of, crumble a little bit. But I think Manchester City, they look so strong. They've brought in Reinders, who I really like. They're going to get Rodri back sooner or later. I think I quite like. I can't weigh up if I do like the signing of Cherky. I don't really, but it's going to happen. Foden looked brilliant pre-season in the Club World Cup. I think if he finds his form again, that's brilliant. I think looking at like the likes of the players that they're bringing in, like Aït-Nouri as well, maybe putting Gvardiol into that back role, centre-back role where he should be playing. Let's be realistic. I know he's great going forwards, but Aït-Nouri just adds something different to that position and just knows how to play it so much better. And then you've got the likes of John Stones, Diaz, Gvardiol, who can play along the back line. It's brilliant. I think it's really good. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see what City do this year, especially having like maybe a back three with Rodri in front of it and then letting Aït-Nouri get forward, getting really expansive. I think it'll be very interesting to see how they do. But I have City as the title winners. As much as I hate it, I don't see Liverpool going back to back, especially not this year. I think Schlott had a great year, but I don't see it happening. So there we have it. Just a very quick one there. Just thought I need to get my predictions out before game week 2, simply because you won't trust me going forwards. But I did that on the 10th of August, around about 2 weeks ago now. I did that before the season started. I just wanted to make that massively clear, but I wanted to be able to do this video so we can go back, have a look how I did. Obviously on Fantasy Premier League as well, you can actually do your own predictions. I'll put that link down below, but hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Just a very quick one, and I hope you're all well and staying alive. So 298 sub-managers. Let's try and get that to 300 by the end of this year, and I'll catch you in the next one. From Alex, have a great day. Ciao.